session, please.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Very good. Thank you very much, everyone. Again, good evening. Good evening to the public. Thank you for coming this evening. Whenever you're ready, Kathy, you can call us to order, please.
Okay, this meeting, which is hereby called to order, is in compliance with the notice requirements of the law. Public notice was posted in the office of the Board of Education and communicated to the municipal clerk, the Daily Record, and the Star Ledger on January 9th, 2017.
Very good. If we could all stand for the flag salute, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. When you're ready, Kathy, roll call, please.
Okay, Mr. Gruzio, Ms. Dodd, and Ms. Rosario. Here. Mr. Miller.
Here.
Mrs. Laurie.
Here.
Mr. Scarnio.
Here.
Mrs. Mullen.
Here.
Mrs. Phillips.
Here.
Ms. Ruiz.
Here.
Mrs. Shower.
Here. Thank you very much. And this is the part of the meeting where we have our public comment section on agenda items. Agenda items only. Is there anyone who would be interested in speaking? If you could please stand, give us your name and your address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes to speak, and we'll be speaking for a grand total of 30 minutes. Anyone interested on agenda items? Okay, seeing nothing at that time, I'll close it. We will have another public comment at the end of the meeting on any items, not just agenda. Thank you. Approval of board minutes. We have regular session and executive session from July 18th. Let's take a motion.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any questions, comments, corrections, changes? Anything? We're all good? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Very good. Thank you, everyone. On to communications, please. Kathy?
Okay, we have 2 letters. One is from El Primo Paso in regards to their pre-K program. And we have letters from Jordan Perez for the scholarships that he was awarded.
Very good. And both were very good letters.
I know, they were, weren't they?
We appreciate, yes, we appreciate when our students recognize
Good kid.
good kids.
Good family.
Thank you, Kathy. Mr. Becker, superintendent's report, please.
Oh, okay. We recommend the out-of-district placement and transportation for the following special education or special needs students as listed.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any questions or comments? Everybody's good? Okay, then roll call, please.
Ms. Dodd?
Yes.
Ms. Rosario?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Laurie?
Yes.
Mr. Scarnio?
Yes.
Mrs. Mullen?
Yes.
Mrs. Phillips?
Yes.
Ms. Ruiz?
Yes.
Mrs. Shower?
Yes. Thank you very much.
And then we have the termination of 2 placements, so we'll be canceling those contracts. The next item is the travel authorization. It's a very short list. All revolves around 1 staff member. This way Kathy can go and find out all the good news coming out this year.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any questions or comments? Okay, roll call then, please.
Ms. Dodd?
Yes.
Ms. Rosario? Yes. Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Laurie?
Yes.
Mr. Scarnio?
Yes.
Mrs. Mullen?
Yes.
Mrs. Phillips?
Yes.
Ms. Ruiz?
Yes.
Mrs. Shower?
Yes. Thank you very much. Is that it, Mr. Becker?
That's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Personnel, Mr. Miller.
Yes, I make a motion that the board approve staff and extra service appointments for 2017 BT school year is listed.
Second.
We have items 1 through 19.
I just wanted to
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Miller.
1 through 19.
It's that time of year.
Good to see that we have a new North Dover principal that has been the vice principal, moving into position since Lieutenant is retired.
Very good. We had a motion, we had a second. Any other questions, comments by anyone? Clarifications, nothing? Everybody's good. Okay, well then roll call then, please.
Ms. Dodd?
Yes.
Ms. Rosario? Yes. Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Laurie?
Yes.
Mr. Scarnio?
Yes.
Mrs. Mullen?
Yes.
Mrs. Phillips?
Yes.
Ms. Ruiz?
Yes.
Mrs. Shower?
Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Miller. Curriculum and co-curricular, Mrs. Mullen.
I move that the board recommend approval of the following curriculum guide, the Fine and Performing Arts Department. It was an excellent development. It's very, very, very good, very interesting, and very individualized for those pursuing that program.
Excellent. Do we have a second to that motion? Okay, we have a second to that motion. Any other comments? Very good. Okay, roll call then, please.
Ms. Dodd?
Yes.
Ms. Rosario?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Laurie?
Yes.
Mr. Scarnio?
Yes.
Mrs. Mullen?
Yes.
Mrs. Phillips?
Yes.
Ms. Ruiz?
Yes.
Mrs. Shower?
Yes.
I recommend the approval of the 17-18 District Professional Development and Mentoring Plan, and I don't know, how much detail you went through looking at it, but it's quite a detailed, supportive, and contractual type of program.
Second. We have a second to that motion for sure. I agree completely. Any other questions or comments about the plan? Okay, roll call then, please.
Ms. Dodd?
Yes.
Ms. Rosario?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Laurie?
Yes.
Mr. Scarnio?
Yes.
Mrs. Mullen?
Yes.
Mrs. Phillips?
Yes.
Ms. Ruiz?
Yes.
Mrs. Shower?
Yes. Thank you, and thank you, Mrs. Mullen. Community Relations, Ms. Rosario, do you have anything for us? Very good. I did want to mention that seeing several of our senior students that are now getting ready to leave for college and packing up their vehicles and all of their belongings. So shopping, I met a couple of them shopping in Bed Bath & Beyond with their coupons, which is always, I love that. I shared some of my coupons. It's always an exciting and fantastic time of year to hear where they're going to, and then they're off, and then they're gone, and they're little adult people, so that's all. Somewhat. Somewhat. Okay, thank you. And Ms. Dodd, I don't see anything on buildings and grounds either. Okay, budget and finance, Mrs. Laurie.
Okay, move we approve and/or adopt the following resolutions as listed, items 1 through 12.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any questions, comments, clarifications, anything from anybody? Everybody's good, all questions were answered. Okay, roll call then, please.
Ms. Dodd?
Yes.
Ms. Rosario?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Laurie?
Yes.
Mr. Scarnio?
Yes.
Mrs. Mullen?
Yes.
Mrs. Phillips? Ms. Ruiz?
Yes.
Mrs. Shower?
Yes. Thank you very much, Mrs. Laurie. Dover report from Mine Hill, we have nothing. From Mr. Brucio, old business, I don't have anything that was left hanging. Anyone have anything?
Madam President, will we return to the code of conduct policy? And I may be misnaming it. Are we going to table that? I have a motion to table it indefinitely, vote on it.
It was tabled. I would believe that it would need to be brought up again since it was tabled already once. If it's going to be brought up again, we would do it under old business. But I thought we were going to
Yeah, I
let
think the
board
last
members.
time when we looked at it, because the code of conduct that the school boards had presented was, I thought, effective. So I wasn't really sure having two different versions in addition to that to come up with something more was necessary.
My recollection is that we tabled it for the next meeting, but
We
it's
tabled it to the point that board members were going to make a recommendation whether or not they felt we needed to bring it up again.
Okay.
And do board members feel, is there anyone who feels they would like to vote on the code of conduct? The choice between the two, there was A, there was B, which of course we don't have in front of you right now.
I think the school ethics covered almost all of the
Yeah,
pieces.
just adopt the school board's one.
Which we do every year.
Yeah, but then we just.
We do a reorganization.
Yeah.
Just procedurally, there would be one move to table it indefinitely, or take it off the table, or have it to the next meeting. So that's all I was asking.
Oh, at this point, it's tabled. So whether or not if someone would like to bring it up again for a vote, we can do so. Not having it in front of us, I think that's unfair, so we could do so at the next meeting. How about we make that decision whether to either table it indefinitely, pull it, or vote on it at the next meeting? How about we do that?
Yeah, I think.
Under old business.
Okay.
This way you can refresh yourself, you can look at the two, see if you do need to decide one or the other, make other alterations, which again, we left it open to if you did want to make future changes to it. Is that agreeable with everyone to leave it until old business until the next meeting?
Yep.
Good. Okay, that's what we'll do, Kathy. Just make note of that, please. Okay, on to new business. We have the rolling calendar with our meeting schedule of Committee of the Whole on September 5th and regular on September 19th. And that is basically that. In between, we will be, of course, starting school. Another first day versus 2017. On to public comment. Here we are again at the second portion. Yes?
I have a piece of the new business, a report back from the, I've got to read it off, the NALEO Northeast Policy Institute on Education training that I attended. I was hoping to share with folks before we move on to public comment.
Okay, and this was the one that you attended personally? This was not as a board member?
Correct.
Okay.
What is the acronym of that?
So, if I may, Madam President, the National Association of Latino Elected Officials is open to all elected officials, including board members, regardless of ethnicity. So it's open to all of us. It welcomes and recruits particularly elected officials that identify as Latino or those that work with Latino populations, which all of us here do. So they sent an invitation and I graciously accepted. They are very generous because they have many members. There were senators there and governors there from states throughout the Northeast, and they provide funding. But more importantly, this Policy Institute on Education was promoting healthy and thriving families from the early years and beyond, and really focused on early education and the importance of early education, particularly for children, recognizing that 1 in 4 children under 6 has at least one foreign-born parent here in the United States. So they may not be familiar, their families may not be familiar with our education system, so they may need that extra support in those early years. The day one focused on early childhood education, including there was a very intensive training on even just brain development in the different ways that children's brains developed with bilingual education. Day 2 talked about college and career readiness, and we also took a deep dive into ESSA, which would take a much longer training, and I imagine Mr. Becker could educate us, or we could on our own educate us on the law. But I learned so much in that training that I want to encourage everyone on this board to take advantage of upcoming trainings. The next one I think is actually going to be on budgets, so maybe not as, I certainly will need that because I need to learn a lot about the budget, but maybe not as directly connected to our work as this Institute on Early Education. We learned about the new funding that New Jersey finally provided for early childhood education, which makes me very excited, although it seems that we may not be able to take advantage of that. We certainly can, I have plenty of materials that I'm happy to share. There's plenty online. It's a great need now. I imagine has always been, but now it's a great need to focus on early childhood education, and there are resources to do so.
Okay, thank you very much. Anybody have any questions for Carol? Okay, thank you very much for that. And again, on to public comment. These are on any items, not just agenda items. If you have something you'd like to say, if you just please stand, give us your name, your address for the record, and you'll have 3 minutes to speak. Anyone? Yes?
Yes, my name is Connie Savona Foster, live at 90 Penn Avenue. Please forgive my notes, because if I don't have notes, I will just go off in any direction.
And when you get to 1 minute, Mr. Kluth will give you the high sign.
Okay, Mr. Becker, President Schauer, and members of the Board of Education. Someone suggested to me yesterday for my walk to come up here and walk around, and I did. I want to commend the groundskeeper, I guess it's Mr. Gomez, and unbelievably clean. I didn't see anything out of place. The grounds are beautiful. The sidewalks are well taken care of. The landscaping, everything is just perfect. I mean, I'm so proud of the schools, the buildings. Not only the buildings, I'm so proud of the kids inside these buildings. But please let Mr. Gomez know that much appreciated by the taxpayers in this town on how well our grounds are kept. He takes care of the grounds. The rest, everybody else takes care of the school system academically. And I'm proud of the teachers and the staff and the children in this school. Every time I see them, like even out here, they're so friendly and talking as I was walking. Not like other kids, they're just friendly kids. I get a thrill every time I talk to those kids. So we're doing a good job. For the 20 plus years that most of you have been sitting up here, you're doing something right, because it shows. This room, the buildings, the kids, the Blue Ribbon Award. You have the education of the kids in this district at heart first. And I'm really grateful, because I know that it takes a lot of tough decisions to do what you do. And tough decisions aren't always liked by everybody. I've worked for a Fortune 500 company for over 30 years, and I know you could get labeled as a real for making a tough decision. But sometimes they have to be made. And those decisions that you have all made have proven you made the right decision. So thank you.
Oh, you have about a minute left. That's
Okay. But as a quick side note, something that really bothered me. I've heard comments made calling Mr. Becker a fat white man from Sparta. In this time when everybody's beating their chest and saying, why are these kids killing themselves because of words? Adults are using these words. Shame on them. If I hear that again, I'm very upset over this. If you have an issue with somebody, be professional, talk to them. Listen, I have a problem with this because of this. Don't go calling names. This is what little kids are killing themselves over, and adults are doing this. It's a form of bullying. So Mr. Becker, I consider you, for a long time I've known you, a gentleman, a devoted person to this school system, and I thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else from the public? Anyone? Nothing, okay. Seeing no one else, we'll close the public portion of this meeting. Thank you for attending, public. And I believe that's the end of our agenda.
I make a motion to adjourn.
May I just respond?
Yes,
Can I get it in time?
Sure, yes, Mr.
I'm a little stunned. I'm sitting here after being called a fat old white man, and how many
I don't
areas...
think she was really calling you.
Yeah, no, I heard what she was saying, Mr. Crude, I'm not laughing. But it just seems to me, how many areas or how many things are incorrect in that statement? I want you to know I am on Nutrisystem, so I'm working at this. But fat old white man, I think, I doubt this is a voice of Dover for representing how people feel. I may not like decisions we make, but I think if the conversation degrades into that, it shows the ethical character of those who choose to portray things in that manner. I think that's beneath all of this. But I appreciate hearing it. I appreciate your kind words. And God willing, with Nutrisystem, I'll be down another 15 and then another 5 weeks. So we'll do our best. Thank you, Mrs. Schauer.
Very good, thank you again, everyone. If there's nothing else, I'll do a motion to close the meeting. All those, do we have a second? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Very good, thank you very much, everyone.
This only happens in August.
Yeah.
Yeah.